I want to touch on what you just said there because I think that's probably a great piece of advice. Tell me more about what you did to focus on the builder accounts when you were originally trying to grow your business.
Sure. This is a topic I'm pretty passionate about. So I'll give you the steps. The first thing that I had to do is segment the market, right? So in my market, I was looking for where the land value was high and the property value was low. Mm-hmm. And when the land value was high and the property value was low, I knew it was a good candidate for a teardown. And I would separate that list, and then I sent a very, very targeted letter, and it said, a local builder wants to buy your home. And then it talked about the builder's track record, and it went through their flexibility, that they were pre-approved, and the options for the client. So because I had the option of a builder buying it as is, or them selling to a family, I would come in and give them both scenarios and help them understand their walkaway, cash position. And I was in there at one point in my career. I remember on my birthday one year, I was actually cleaning out a moldy fridge and a property that had like just trash all over it. And my whole team was out there doing it, hands and gloves,
getting
just
dirty.
Like getting dirty.
Happy
right?
birthday.
Happy birthday to me. And I was celebrating the fact that I was in that position because I came from a background where I was selling new homes, and there was a time when I was just starving. Like I couldn't even afford dollar beers, right? I was so poor. And to be afforded the opportunity to earn, I remember that property was worth like $412,000 and it was a teardown. But I couldn't present it to the market in shambles. So we went in and cleaned it ourselves. And actually the person who hired us to list it was a real estate agent that didn't want to do the work.
Too much to deal with or something.
Was like, I'm just above this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not.
I'll get in
scrub
there.
that refrigerator out myself with my own hands, right? That's kind of where I started. And when I focused on that niche and sent them the letters, one of the secrets was I sent them 3 times in a row.
Okay.
And so what I found is, and I think most agents can attest to this with direct mail, you're not going to get the result the first postcard that you send. And so what I did was I compressed the timetable and when I was sending them. So I would hit them 3 times in a row, 1 week apart. And most of my calls came on the third drop.
So week 1, week 2, week 3.
Yeah. Just like boom, boom, boom. And I actually would write on the first one, nothing. On the top of the second one, it would say second notice. And on the third one, it would say third and final notice.
And what was the call to action? It was just an offer to buy or list for retail type of message?
It was an offer to basically get in touch so they could find out what the builder would offer.
Got it.
Or what the public would pay. And then I would go personally and sit down with them and talk them through their options. And one thing that was really important to me, I wanted to be in integrity. And a lot of people in my market assumed because they read the letter, oh, she's taking advantage of these old people. She's not telling them what their home is worth. That wasn't the case at all. If you talk to any of the families I supported in their transition, I was telling them, hey, if we go to market, here's how much it's going to cost. Hey, B, shoo. Here's how much it's going to cost. And here's what we need to do. And a lot of times I was actually putting all the pieces in place to paint their homes, get them out of the house for a week, like do everything. And I would just take care of it because it was my competitive advantage and it's how I got in. So there were other agents who had a stronghold on the market and I didn't let that stop me or discourage me. I just focused on a different level of service to be able to get in.
Out carrying the competition.
And out supporting the client, right? Like providing more value. If they needed to have all of their belongings moved and their home staged, there was a long time when my team did the staging ourselves, just to make that a more affordable process for the client where they would get a really good outcome.
So you did a lot of business that way, and that was, so it was either investor offer or retail was basically the options.
Cool, and I actually would hire the construction crews, manage the construction myself, and sell it like full boat.
Wow. Full service.
Yeah, full service. Like I had 4 to 5 renovations going on at a time sometimes.
Wow. And is that another model that you researched and duplicated, or how did you come on that strategy?
So that strategy was a little different because I felt my market was so ready for someone to do what I was doing. And by the way, I would also attract the new construction. So it all started from me seeing that people were segmenting buildings or geographic farms, and I felt like that was overdone. So I was looking for something to differentiate myself in my own market, and I had a background in new home sales. So I was trying to figure out, and I always think about this for buyers and sellers. What does a buyer want? They want a house. What does a seller want? They want a buyer. It's actually not that complicated. It's pretty simple. So if you know how to touch that button, it works. So what does a builder want? I wanted the new construction listings. I felt incredibly prepared to really crush it for the builders. But I also was brand new and didn't have a track record in new construction sales in the resale market. I was working for the actual builder as their sales representative, right? So I figured, what does a builder need that's going to make the biggest difference for them? Land. So I had to figure out how to be able to get in there and get the right land opportunities to attract the builders. So what was happening, if I was doing the renovation, there was a lot of upside there. And I would also likely get the out sale because the whole time the renovation was going on, I was attracting potential buyers that wanted to customize the out sale. So I just it was like shooting fish in a barrel. I had such a unique opportunity. And then for the builders, I linked up with the NVBIA. So anyone who's trying to get more builder accounts, what they ultimately want is the land opportunities. They struggle to find them. And so I was presenting to them, hey, I have all these off-market land opportunities. And I had clients who did not want to go on the market because they were embarrassed. You know, their house may not be in the right condition. And please understand, whatever market you're in, there's different guidelines and policies. In my market, I didn't copy that program. Instead, I copied the idea. And then I just twisted it a little bit and made it super effective for me.
Yeah, that's great. That's a really great strategy. And I'm guessing you got the relist on most of those deals because you're managing the project, you're building a great relationship with the developer.
Absolutely. And the builders, I would tell them, listen, if you want me to bring you another deal, like some of them have pre-existing relationships. I'm like, that's fantastic. I'm sure Betty is wonderful, but on this deal, I'm going to list it for you. And if you're not comfortable with that, no problem. I want to make sure I'm taking care of my seller. But on the next transaction, I would think twice before I brought it to you.
Yeah.
Because you have to be careful. Your fiduciary responsibility is to your client, obviously. And so I would cast a wide net. I would send out emails to all of the NVBIA. But what gets the deals done, and this is something for everybody listening to learn, what gets the deals done is when you call.
Close the loop.
Close the loop. If you just send an email, it goes missed, right? But if you do more than that and you go the extra mile, it's huge.
And what percentage of those people that you were marketing to were taking the investor offer versus just listing traditional retail?
It's a good question. I would say it was about 50-50.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there were a fair number of people who would say, oh, I can get more. Okay. There were also people who I had to work with for 4 years to get them comfortable leaving their home. So it was not, and don't misunderstand me. If you decide to execute this program, it's not easy. Like those people are afraid of moving and you have to take care of them and you have to meet with their family members and you have to be willing to go the extra mile. And if you're not, they're not going to trust you. And you have to tell them the truth. Like I remember I was sitting down with clients and I really, because I always want the best outcome for them. And the difference with me and other agents is I listen deeply about what that is. And it's not always money. So for some of them, it is actually the hassle and stress, and they're at a point in their lives where they just want to move on and they need the money from the sale of their home in order to do so. Right.
Or they just have a problem that they need fixed.
Yeah.
They just want out.
They want to be done. Yep.
Right.
I remember sitting down with a couple and I think they would have made like $190,000 extra if they it was super simple. All I had to do was like renovate the bathrooms, paint the house. The kitchen wasn't that bad. I wasn't going to do that. Like I can send you guys to stay at the Ritz and I will pay for it and we'll just take it out of the proceeds. And they had, I mean, their loan was paid off, right? And they were like, thank you so much, dear, but that's not what we want to do. We just want to be done.
Yeah.
You know, like $190,000 to them, it was like not worth going to stay at the Ritz, which is where we are today, right? I'm like, but it's so beautiful here.
Right, I would have taken that and ran all the way to the bank.
Yeah, and they were like, thank you so much, but no.
Right, we just want the cash now.
Yeah.
We're going to Mexico and we're retiring or whatever.
Yeah, they were just like, no.
I love that. That's some gold. Great advice. I love that strategy.
Thank you.